January 24th, 2026. A date that will soon be etched into the memory of a nation. The West Philippine Sea appears calm at first light, its surface undisturbed, but beneath this tranquil facade, tension simmers, an uneasy peace that could shatter at any moment. Suddenly, Philippine Coast Guard radars flicker to life. The screens are crowded with blips. 41 Chinese vessels, all deep within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, their presence impossible to ignore. This is no ordinary fishing fleet. The ships move in tight formation, a coordinated show of force. It's a silent, calculated challenge to Philippine sovereignty, a message sent without a single word spoken. Towering above the local patrols, massive Chinese Coast Guard cutters and blue-hulled maritime militia ships dominate the seascape. Their sheer size and numbers are meant to intimidate, to remind the Filipino crews of the power they face. These militia vessels, state-sponsored and manned by trained personnel, are designed for one purpose: to intimidate and assert control without ever firing a shot. Their presence is a constant, looming threat. The flotilla operates near Iroquois Reef and Sabina Shoal, areas not just rich in marine resources, but vital lifelines for Filipino fishermen. These waters feed families, sustain communities, and are woven into the nation's identity. For the Philippine crews, this mission is more than a routine patrol. It's a direct confrontation with a superpower, a test of resolve and courage in the face of overwhelming odds. The Chinese ships move with chilling confidence, shadowing and harassing Filipino vessels. Water cannons are sometimes unleashed, drenching decks and sending a clear warning: you are not welcome here. This isn't open warfare, but a high-stakes test of will and endurance. Every maneuver, every decision, could tip the balance between escalation and restraint. Every radio call crackles with tension. Orders are given in hushed tones, every word weighed carefully. The crews know that a single misstep could have consequences far beyond these waters. The Filipino crews remain resolute, holding their ground despite being vastly outnumbered and outgunned. The imbalance is stark, but their determination is unwavering. Around the world, newsrooms buzz with updates. The standoff is headline news, and Manila knows the eyes of the world are watching. The government faces mounting pressure, diplomatic, political, and public. The future of the region hangs in the balance. The outcome here could set a precedent for maritime disputes across Southeast Asia, shaping the fate of millions. This is a new kind of standoff, one fought with presence, not firepower. Ships hold their positions, locked in a tense maritime chess game, each side waiting for the other to make the next move. The stakes are immense: sovereignty, resources, and national pride. For the Philippines, this is about more than territory. It's about dignity, survival, and the right to chart their own future. The storm has arrived, both literal and metaphorical. As dark clouds gather on the horizon, the Philippines stands firm, bracing for whatever comes next, determined to defend its waters, its people, and its place in the world. The so-called fishing vessels seen in the South China Sea are anything but innocent. While they may appear to be ordinary fishing boats at first glance, a closer look reveals a very different story. These vessels are part of a much larger state-backed operation that blurs the line between civilian and military activity. China's maritime militia is a state-directed force, equipped with reinforced hulls to withstand collisions in rough seas, and advanced communications gear that links them directly to the Chinese military and Coast Guard. Many of these boats are crewed by personnel with military training, making them far more capable than typical fishermen. These ships operate in the so-called gray zone, asserting China's territorial claims while maintaining plausible deniability. By acting just below the threshold of open conflict, they create confusion and complicate responses from other nations. The cabbage strategy is a calculated tactic. It surrounds contested features with multiple layers of militia, Coast Guard, and Navy ships, effectively choking off access to rivals. This layered approach makes it difficult for other countries to respond without risking escalation. Chinese Coast Guard ships, often converted from old warships, enforce this presence aggressively. They use water cannons, intimidation tactics, and even ramming to drive away foreign vessels, sending a clear message of dominance. The goal is clear: create a fait accompli, normalizing Chinese control over disputed waters and wearing down the resolve of countries like the Philippines through constant pressure and unrelenting presence. This isn't a legal blockade under international law, but the effect is the same. Filipino fishermen are denied access to their own traditional fishing grounds, impacting their livelihoods and local economies. The swarm of Chinese vessels acts as a weapon of attrition, slowly changing the map and the reality on the water, without a single shot being fired. Over time, this persistent presence shifts the status quo in China's favor. For the Philippines, it's a daily battle for sovereignty and survival. Each patrol, each confrontation, is a reminder of the ongoing struggle to defend their rights and maintain control over their own waters. China's playbook is gray zone warfare, conflict below the threshold of open war. Coast Guard cutters, militia, and economic pressure replace tanks and jets. The aim: win without fighting, using intimidation and legal ambiguity. Provocations, water cannons, ramming, blocking test Filipino patience and international resolve. China exploits Manila's commitment to peaceful legal solutions, staying just below the threshold that would trigger defense treaties. Beyond the sea, China wields economic leverage and disinformation to divide and pressure the Philippines. The goal: make resistance seem futile, forcing quiet acquiescence. Manila must counter in the gray zone, using transparency, legal action, and alliances. The 41-ship swarm is gray zone warfare in action. Before the world noticed, Filipino fishermen bore the brunt of China's expansion. Generations have fished these waters. Now, they face harassment and exclusion. Their wooden boats are no match for steel-hulled Chinese ships. Blocked from traditional grounds, incomes plummet, and communities suffer. The fisheries sector is vital to the Philippine economy and food security. Stories of water cannon attacks and confiscated catches are common. The psychological toll is immense. Each trip is a risk. Many give up, others risk everything to fish. Their struggle puts a human face on the conflict, galvanizing national resolve. Defending the sea means defending their right to live and work without fear. At the heart of the South China Sea conflict lie two irreconcilable claims, each rooted in history, law, and national pride. The tension between these claims has shaped the region's politics for years, drawing in not just the countries directly involved, but the attention of the entire world. The Philippines holds a landmark legal victory, the 2016 Hague ruling. This decision, handed down by the Permanent Court of Arbitration, was a turning point in the long-standing maritime dispute, giving Manila a powerful tool in its diplomatic arsenal. On the other side, China clings to its sweeping 9-dash line, a claim that covers nearly the entire South China Sea. This line, drawn on old maps, is the basis for China's assertion of historic rights over vast waters and islands, despite overlapping claims from neighboring countries. The tribunal declared China's claim baseless, stating it had no legal foundation under international law. It affirmed the Philippines' rights under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, recognizing Manila's exclusive economic zone and its entitlement to resources within those waters. The ruling is legally binding, transforming the dispute from a regional quarrel into a matter of global principle and law. It set a precedent for how international law should be applied in maritime disputes, and challenged the legitimacy of unilateral claims. Yet, China rejected the decision outright, refusing to recognize the tribunal's authority. Instead, Beijing doubled down on its presence, increasing patrols, building artificial islands, and using coercion to assert control over the contested waters. This defiance undermines the international rules-based order, raising concerns among nations that rely on global norms to resolve disputes peacefully. The world's response has been mixed, with some countries voicing strong support for the ruling, while others remain cautious. For Manila, the ruling is more than a legal document. It's a foundation for diplomatic protests, building new alliances and modernizing its navy to defend its rights. It has become a rallying point for national pride and a symbol of resistance against coercion. The standoff is about more than territory or resources. It's a battle for the soul of international law, and a test of whether rules or raw power will shape the future of the world's oceans. The world watches closely, waiting to see if the principles of law and justice will prevail, or if might will make right in the South China Sea. Through it all, the Philippines stands its ground, armed not just with ships and alliances, but with the power of international law and the unwavering resolve of its people. Outmatched militarily, the Philippines fights back with transparency. The Coast Guard releases real-time photos and videos of Chinese aggression, shifting the narrative. Journalists document encounters, exposing China's actions to the world. Every act of bullying becomes a PR liability for Beijing. Manila files swift diplomatic protests and rallies support in international forums. Alliances with the US, Japan, Australia, and others grow stronger. Military modernization boosts deterrence, aiming to raise the cost of aggression. The Philippines' new strategy: expose, protest, and prepare. The Philippines is not alone. The US-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty deters overt Chinese aggression. Joint patrols and increased US presence back up this commitment. Japan and Australia provide patrol vessels, training, and joint exercises. The G7 and European powers conduct freedom of navigation operations, challenging China's claims. These partnerships offer diplomatic, material, and moral support. ASEAN's response is mixed, but Manila's assertiveness keeps the issue on the agenda. The coalition sends a clear message. The South China Sea is not China's lake. International solidarity is Manila's force multiplier. This is more than a local dispute, it's a global test. The South China Sea is a vital artery for global trade and energy. Control here means leverage over trillions in commerce. The region's fisheries feed millions. Environmental damage threatens food security. China's disregard for the Hague ruling challenges the rules-based order. If law is ignored here, it can be ignored anywhere. The world's democracies see Manila's fight as their own. The principle at stake disputes must be settled by law, not force. The outcome will shape the future of global governance. The world is watching the West Philippine Sea. The West Philippine Sea faces three possible futures. First, normalization of Chinese control, with Manila forced to accept dominance, a blow to law and sovereignty. Second, internationalization, as Manila's transparency and alliances build a coalition that deters further aggression. Joint patrols and united ASEAN push back, managing the conflict and upholding law. Third, crisis management, with both sides stepping back, establishing communication, and cooperating on practical issues. This requires political will, especially from Beijing. Today, as 41 Chinese ships loom, the path is uncertain. What's at stake? Philippine sovereignty, regional stability, and the future of international order. The Philippines' courage will define this era. The choices made now will shape the 21st century.